So before we get started with this review, I just want to note that there have been 2 more filler episodes confirmed for the first 2 weeks of May. That's right, people. More filler. Yummy. That good old filler. Alright, so this episode leaps and bounds ahead of last week's episode because at least we had new content this episode. Last week, I don't know why they decided to make a 90% flashback, but this week, we actually got new content. It seems as though they were aiming to make a more of a little personal story for Hayatte and Yugao. And I actually enjoyed it a little bit. I like the little I guess the personal message between the two of them and how they made that promise to each other. I felt like it was nicely done in small aspects, but for the most part, I went in there like, at the end of the day, this is Hayatte. He's like, if Sakura is not even that important anymore in the story, which a lot of people say, then what does that make Hayatte? Some dude that was killed off by some dude like 2 years ago in a random spying mission. So when you go into this, you're like, why should anyone really care for the most part? I mean, like I said, I did have some enjoyment with it. I thought that for what they were given, making a story about Hayatte and his lover or whatever, Yugao, I guess they did a decent job. Overall, making her overcome her fear, pretty cool, but, you know, some people say it's cliche, you know, oh, overcoming some incredible stress or trauma, but, you know, it was pretty decent, I guess you could say, as far as that aspect. Nothing, like, you know, too extravagant or anything, but at the same time, I guess just last week, really, I wasn't really feeling it. So this week, I guess even the smallest notch would have been a step up. So I give this episode, I want to say 2.5 out of 5. Animation wasn't really a big deal, but it wasn't to complain about either. It was just average. This episode was really just an average filler episode, better than, like, you know, some ostrich shit, but not like, you know, no Chikara filler stuff like that. It was telling a simple little, I guess, war and love and peace or love and war type of story where, you know, dealing with being a shinobi and at the same time losing one of your lovers that is a fellow shinobi as well. And they did a decent job for what they were doing, because at the end of the day, who really cares about Hayatte and Yugao? It was romantic and all, but they are bottom of the barrel D-list shinobis that nobody knows about, especially Yugao. She was just made up for this filler, I'm pretty sure. We've never had any word of her prior to this. So they did what they could. It was cool to see Sakura actually go into a mission. I like that the fillers, they always try to make the characters that don't get the most screen time get a little bit of screen time. So that was good as well, getting Sakura up in there trying to kick ass or whatever. It was kind of funny seeing her get, even though it was a clone or whatever, but it was funny to see her get, like, beat up by Hayatte. I mean, they were trying to hype up Hayatte, like, yes, he is the specialist with the sword and this and that. I mean, come on, really? Even in part 1, I didn't even respect him for the most part. I mean, I respect that he went out like a soldier, but I didn't necessarily look at him like, this man has skills, you know? So they were just, like, overhyping him when they were talking about it amongst each other, getting ready for the mission. So it's whatever. Not a big deal about this episode. Again, I'm just really dying to get out of filler at this point. But next week looks a little bit more interesting, where they're going to have some of the samurai show up. And I think Naruto's going to have to go against some samurai that he previously met. I don't know if they're just pulling this one strictly for filler, or if this character really did show up at one given point. Doubtful. So I guess that sounds a little more exciting than this. But yeah, that's just really my thoughts of this episode in a nutshell. Average filler, a bit better than, you know, the worst, but nothing too extravagant, nothing too exciting. Animation isn't anything to drop your jaw, but I did get a little enjoyment. That's all I have for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Thumbs up if you can't wait to get the hell out of filler, because I'm ready. SpongeBob reference, yeah. And as always, people, have an awesome day.